And welcome back. Man, I missed y'all while you were gone. I hope you're having a happy new year so far. So we're going to jump in and start learning about energy transformations. So our first word for energy transformations is energy transformation. Ha ha! And an energy transformation is the change of energy from one form to another. So I know that you did some of this when you were in 5th grade. And what you looked for then was a battery, the chemical energy in a battery, turning into electrical energy in a flashlight, and then the flashlight giving off light or radiant energy. So that's the same kind of stuff that we're going to talk about here, only we're going to take it quite a bit further. We've got some different types of energy that we're going to learn. And the first type of energy is chemical energy. And chemical energy is the energy stored in chemical bonds. And you can see in these pictures right here, we've got a battery. Batteries have energy stored in their bonds, so batteries have chemical energy. Gasoline, same thing. The energy stored in the bonds in gasoline, chemical energy. The food that we eat is another perfect example of chemical energy. There is all kinds of energy stored in the bonds of our food that we eat. Our bodies turn it into energy that we can use to move around and talk and dance and do all kinds of fun stuff. So those are some examples of chemical energy. Electrical energy is another type of energy that we're going to talk about, and that is the flow of electrical charge. We see electrical energy all over the place. Whenever you turn on your computer, the video that you're watching right now, the lights in your house, man, all kinds of stuff has electrical energy. So next, let's look at light energy. So light energy comes from anything that you see that might give off light. Our two examples here are a light bulb. Well, that gives off light. And the sun gives off lots of light too. All kinds of things can give off light. Here's my cell phone. Whenever I turn it on, you see how it lit up right here? Light energy. Kind of cool, right? Your computer screen, man, all kinds of stuff gives off light energy. Next, we have sound energy. And sound energy is energy made in vibrations that requires a medium, air, water, solids to travel. So the sound of my voice is traveling to you from the speakers in your computer. It's traveling through the air and going to your ears. So it's going through the particles in the air and it's vibrating in there. I know you can't see it, but that's what's happening. Next, we have a conductor. So conductors are super important. We've talked about them a little bit. A conductor is a substance that allows the transfer of heat or electrical energy. Good conductors would be copper, like you see in the picture right there. That pot transfers some heat energy very easily. It would probably transfer electrical energy too because it looks like it's metal. But if you ever put your hands close to a pot, don't touch it because I bet it's hot. While it's sitting on the stove, they transfer heat energy very well. Next, we have the opposite of a conductor. The opposite of a conductor is an insulator, which is a substance that does not conduct heat or electricity. Styrofoam makes a really good insulator, and a coat that you might wear outside on a cold day, that's a good insulator. It keeps the heat close to your body instead of letting it escape out in the wind and the cold and all that stuff. So anything that doesn't let heat or electricity be conducted through it is an insulator. Here we have the law of conservation of energy. And that law says energy cannot be created or destroyed. It just changes forms. So this is super important, especially to what we're talking about right here. We'll get more into it after a while, but law of conservation of energy, energy cannot be created or destroyed. It just changes forms, okay? Here we have another type of energy. We have thermal energy. Thermal energy is the energy that comes from heat. So anything you have around that gives off heat is going to be thermal energy. So we've got a couple examples here, the sun or a fire. Both of those things give off heat. So they have thermal energy. So that thermal energy can be transferred in 3 different ways. One of those ways is by conduction. So conduction is the transfer of heat energy through direct contact. So say we have this candle right here. You see that spoon? If they put the spoon in the fire, what do you think is going to happen? It's going to get really hot, right? So the energy transferred from the fire into the spoon. Well, if you took that spoon and put it on your hand, what would happen? You'd be burned, right? That heat, direct contact, you would feel that heat. Don't do that. It's a bad idea, okay? But direct contact, if you touch something and it feels hot, that's conduction, okay? So some other examples of this, some hands on a hot coffee cup or hot chocolate cup, that you can touch. That warm your hands up pretty good, but if it's touching, that's conduction. Okay, so if you go outside in the summertime, not right now, but when it gets really hot, feet touching the hot pavement, or if you've ever been on a beach that the sun's been shining on it for a while, that sand's really hot on your bare toes, right? If your feet are touching it and it feels hot, that's direct contact, so that is conduction. Another example would be pancakes on a griddle. If you're cooking a pancake, you're frying it on a pan, that pancake's touching the pan and the heat is going from the pan directly into the pancake because it's touching. That's conduction. Kind of cool, right? So we're going to talk more about that in a little while. The next way that heat can be transferred into other places is by convection. So convection is super fun. Convection is a circular movement that transfers heat in a liquid or in a gas. So some examples of this are a lava lamp. If you've never seen a lava lamp, I want you to go Google it right now and watch a YouTube video of how those blobby things kind of float and they'll rise up and they'll get cold and they'll sink down. They do all kinds of cool stuff. Cooking soup is another example of convection. If you look close in soup, you can kind of sometimes see how it looks like it's swirling around a little bit. Like if you're not stirring it, the heat from the bottom of the pan kind of swirls around a little bit. That's convection. Another awesome example is a hot air balloon. And when we get to talking about convection, you're going to think it's awesome because it's super cool. But the hot air, the air in a balloon does that same circular motion. It kind of goes up and down and up and down and makes the hot air balloon go up in the sky. Super cool. I'm excited for us to learn about convection and conduction. The last type of heat transfer that we're going to talk about is radiation. Radiation is a transfer of thermal energy by light electromagnetic waves, and that is a mouthful, but really some good examples of that to help you think through it is a campfire or getting a sunburn. So think about the campfire. If you've never seen a campfire, oh, my lights just went off. Come on, guys. Okay. Campfire, when it's cold outside, I love to stand around a campfire whenever we go camping, and I sit there and I hold my hands out. Now, I'm not about to get my hands close enough to the fire to get burned, so I'm not touching it, but I'm standing close enough where I can feel the heat from it. And if I'm not touching it, but I can still feel the heat, that is radiation. Okay, so the same thing can happen on a cup of hot cocoa. If you're not touching the cup, but if you put your hands up above it, let's see, here's my coffee cup right here. Y'all see it? If I put my hand right here, see how it's not touching? If I can feel the heat from my coffee or that hot chocolate, even though I'm not touching it, that's radiation. Okay, if you've ever been outside in the summertime and you didn't put sunscreen on and you got a sunburn, that's another example of radiation. So that's heat from the sun coming down and it's burning your skin and it's terrible and it hurts so bad. And if you've ever had a sunburn, I'm super sorry because they hurt. They hurt. So anyway, these are our vocabulary words for our energy transformations unit. I'm super excited about this one. We got a couple cool labs that we're going to do before we have the test on this. So y'all are amazing. I'm glad we're back. I missed you, and go ahead and fill in your words now on your Word document. We'll see y'all tomorrow.